Okay, we're on Perek Gimel, Mishnah Bet. Mishnah Bet is a direct continuation of Mishnah Aleph. And in Mishnah Aleph, what we learned is that if you have something called safek Terumah, so for example, I gave Terumah, I had a barrel of wine, chavit shel yayin. And it turns out that when the Kohen opened it, it was vinegar. So now I don't know, when I gave it, was it vinegar, and therefore it wasn't Terumah? Or after I gave it, it turned vinegar and when it was in the possession of the Kohen. So therefore it's a safek. And the Mishnah said, Terumah v'yachzor v'yitrom. He should give Terumah, okay? It's Terumah, and then he has to go give Terumah again. And the Mishnah says that Rishona ena midamat b'fnei atzma v'chein hashniya. So the first, both of these Terumahs are not midamea, i.e. they don't, if they fall into tevel, if they fall into chulin, so let's say I have Terumah, and I'm going to show you a chart in a minute. But if it falls into Terumah and it's not 100 times the amount like for a bitul, okay, ena midamat b'fnei atzma. It can't create Demai on its own because it's only safek Terumah, and only real Terumah creates Demai. Okay, and the same is true for both the first Terumah and the second Terumah. Both of them are safek Terumah. So now our mission is going to be a continuation of that idea. Nafla achat mehem letoch chulin ena midamat, as we just said. So let's say I have a chart for you. Here we go. Let me move me over here, okay? So here's my chart. I take off remember I took off, I have 1,000, whatever, I have a barrel, some huge barrel of 1,000 liters, gallons, whatever you want, of wine. So then I take off my Terumah. Terumah is going to be 2%. 2%, 1% of 1,000 is 10, 100, yes. 2% is 20, so I have a 20 gallon jug. And then that 20 gallons falls into some other mixture. So if it falls into a small mixture, let's say it doesn't fall into 90, you're going to see for a reason why you can use this number. But if it falls into if this is safek Terumah, and no matter how much it falls into, as long as it's batel barov, if it falls into 50 other gallons, it's batel. Okay? That's what it says, ena midamat. Nafla shniya lemakom acher, ena midamatan. So and if the same thing happened to the second Terumah, and the reason this is 19.6 is, let's say I'm taking 2%. If I take 2% off 1,000, then I'm left with 980. So 2% of 980 is 19.6. So if this falls into some other bucket of wine, whatever, it falls into some other jug of wine, and it's not, the other jug of wine is not 100 times the quantity, still, eina mida'amatan. It doesn't make it demai. Why? Because as we just said, that's what the rule was before, that's the rule we just said. Why? Because it's safek Terumah. It doesn't create Demai because it's safek Terumah. Why Shema? Because maybe this one is not Terumah, maybe that was not Terumah. So if these fall into separate jugs, okay, it will not make them into Demai. They're not midameya. If this falls into one and this falls into another somewhere else. And on the other hand, says the Mishnah, back to our Mishnah, but naflish dehem l'makom echad. That's the chart you're going to see that you saw a million times. Naflish dehem l'makom echad. What if they both fall into one? So how much is it Shuvah? So it says the Mishnah, midamot kiktana shebishtehen. Then it creates Demai, like the smaller one, says the Bartanura, kishiur hashniya, the second measurement, which is ktana shebishtehen. It's the smaller of the two. Remember we said in our chart, the first one is 22%, the second one is 19.6. So what in the world would make a difference if it's 19.6 or 20? So therefore the Bartanura says the following. The Bartanura says, so remember we said in order to make it not Demai, you need 100 times the amount, and then it was batel. That's the din of Demai midrabanan. So you don't count these two together because only one of them can be Terumah. So which one is Terumah? Is the first Terumah or is the second one? So the Mishnah says it's a double kula. Not only do we have to have both of them fall in order to make it Demai, but you can also do it corresponding to the smaller one and not the bigger one. Because let's say now this 20 fell into the 1980 and the 19.6 fell into the 1980 liter huge vat of wine. Okay, if I went by the first measurement of 20, 1,980 is not 100 times 20, of course, and therefore this whole vat would be Demai. But if I go by the smaller measurement, then I only need 1960, and if I have 1980 liters, then it is batel. So that's what he says. And so therefore, you measure mea keneged haktana, and what do? Notel mina chulin kishiur elu ashtei trumot shenaflu behem v'notel lakohen. So if it's not midamea, so let's say this all falls into 1980 vats. So I have to take out 39.6 liters and give them to the kohen. V'ashar chulin, and the rest is chulin kamoshayu as it was, and I don't have to treat it like demai and sell it at the value for a kohen, etc., etc. Okay, we'll stop here. If you have any comments or questions, as always, contact me at artspolter@gmail.com, and we'll dedicate this learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a great day.